quality public television is made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.
We have a really unique project here. The challenge that was presented, and this was set up by Cirkus from the beginning, is that it's a short story. It's about 6 to 7 minutes long. It has to have some sort of narrative arc to it. And here's the catch. It cannot use any recognizable language.
The Circus Theater Project provides an opportunity for School of the Arts students that allows them to work collaboratively with people from across the school, from different disciplines.
Design and production students working with composers and actors and musicians to produce a piece that is unlike anything else that they've done at the school before.
I think it's ingenious that the school has brought this project forward because it brings together people from different disciplines, and they're not speaking the same language, but then in the end they eventually speak the same language.
We are essentially going to set up what we call gateways. And again, this is something modeled after Cirque du Soleil. When they're developing a new piece, they start at the beginning, take it to a point, go through the equivalent of a gateway, and they get feedback. And the feedback for you all will come in the form of mostly your deans and faculty members.
I was really excited, but I'm more scared than excited right now because it's a big project and it's a huge opportunity, and there's a lot of creativity that goes into it.
I wanted to express myself in a way that is different than what our school facilitates in a way, because the Circus project is so free form and so naturalistic.
It sounded like a really great opportunity, so I signed up.
If I were a student and I had the opportunity to do Circus project, I would be scared out of my mind.
The Circus Theater Project it's a really unique project, not just for our school, for School of the Arts, but for any school, any university.
We're in an environment that is creatively juicy. My job really was to focus them on the barest elements of what theater is created from.
There was a feeling of enthusiasm and the willingness to try new things.
We did moment work.
Moment work is a technique for theatrical exploration.
That was by yourself, saying I begin, an action, and then I end.
I begin. I end.
So a moment basically is a unit of theatrical time. And they can be building blocks of a narrative, or they can exist on their own. But they all have these elements that are a part of them. Searching then for individual moments before you have the greater narrative is what moment work can really be used for.
It's getting them to take responsibility for what they're presenting, and even if there isn't an audience, but just for themselves. By the end of the day, they have more control over what they're doing. They just simply are able to start to think in a different way. And I think that gave them confidence and empowered them to keep going, which was great.
With any kind of collaborative project like this, I think the hope for everybody is ultimately for everybody to be able to express their own individual artistic voice.
That's what I want to start finding, and I think that's why I was chosen to be a part of this project, was to actually find that voice and express it.
they're going to be able to employ this newfound confidence, this newfound openness to what they're capable of.
It's not to do something that you think somebody else would want to see or do. It's really to explore what you would like to do. I think we're at the beginning of something that can be wonderful, but there's a lot of different directions that can go from here.
5 wonderful women discover a red box. Within the box are 5 red noses. The contexts of the box lead them to a world of discovery and endless possibility, including a wild and extraordinary introduction to sound.
How interesting to do a red nose piece with all women.
Yes.
Because it is so rarely done.
The idea is really to be constructive in the first gateway. It's to help them push their piece forward.
I'm nervous because I get really bad stage fright and presenting stuff to people. I always clam up. This is nerve-wracking a little bit.
We don't know exactly what's expected.
Yeah.
So I suppose there's that element of, do we have enough? Yeah. Are we prepared enough?
I knew of Dan and I knew of Graham before the project, but I don't think we've,
We had one class together, but we never talked.
Yeah, we're all from different departments, so we live in different buildings.
We met for the first time on
last
Monday.
I'm always really nervous about the first gateway because I'm nervous that they won't really bring anything, and they always do. And it's always kind of wonderful and unexpected. We're ultimately looking for storytellers, not necessarily the amazing dancer or the amazing designer.
We've been talking about a lot of ideas based off of minimalism. So a lot of ideas based off of simple movement, simple sounds.
I've been thinking a lot about the use of and finding what is a woman's voice. So it's just been a big journey for me this year of finding that.
We had talked earlier about doing a story, like a human story, through using objects, things that we can that can personify any human qualities.
It seems like we're all on the same page, and I think we're going to be pretty ready to present a pretty fleshed out idea tomorrow.
We have our characters, our story, our world, and a lot of it is really taking the time to play and the value in play, and that the meaning and the theme and the structure will come along.
How do these ideas become a story or become movement? And that's where I think most of them is ready to kind of get there and get moving.
So you know how you want to do it, but now it's what do you want to do?
I think you have ideas of how to tell it, but I think you need to keep exploring that too. So just keep going on the path you're on.
Because what you can do is you can put so many little twists and turns and things that can't happen without the technique into the story, which makes the story more fantastical. It should be fun.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun.
But you got to figure out what the heck the story is.
And you know what? Today's proposals were really great, and in some ways, they're some of the strongest that we've seen in the time we've been doing this for our first gateway.
I think it went well. I hope it did. I felt good about it. I learned some stuff, so that makes it good for me, at least.
The first gateway was very open-ended. It was just a great way to just start it off of kind of having an idea of where we want to go with our piece, and then actually putting it forth and kind of presenting it in a way of just very casually just presenting what we have so far.
I think the next step for us is to start figuring out who we want to work with in terms of actual, the people who are going to eventually be on stage and the people that we really need to make this happen.
Our imagination is the limit, so I'm very excited.
I like your little, you're tricking and you're playing with him.
I was thinking very vintage and just not as, I don't know.
Is this the human character?
It's kind of, I feel like in a way it's similar to Gateway 1, except just way more detailed.
We're not going to be in front of the faculty. We're going to be in front of the faculty and a professional from the industry.
The reason I'm here today is to work on the Gateway number 2 for the Cirkus project. And coming from Vegas, where I do work on special events for Cirque du Soleil, I came in because I established a really wonderful relationship with the production department here.
So excited! He's part of multiple shows that are very successful and have great stories.
Is he expecting to get blown away?
Yeah.
It's not like getting up in front of a panel of judges and getting a yes or a no. It's like they're there to listen to us and to help us.
I think they're there to support us and move it forward, not tear it down.
I'm here to say, you know, from this standpoint, look at it from this way. Hold a mirror up to them.
They're going to make it better. They're going to help me build off of it and create something that I didn't think of. And that's just kind of amazing. So.
Okay, we're gonna have 5 women, like female clowns. They're all gonna be of like varying places, and they're all going to be on a journey and a search for companionship. We were kind of talking about like what are sounds that are human but not necessarily usually used in order to communicate.
So it's simple, and it's visual, and it's entertaining, and to me the story and everything was just right on.
You know, Jean said, don't over-design this, let it be simple. For simplicity to be appreciated was really wonderful.
The narrative, we've got that nailed.
So the story is about this boy who loses his mother and has to grow up prematurely.
We could, I don't know, see what they think. If they've got any pointers, we'll go from there. You know, we've been talking about how we would stage this and, you know, how this would go, but we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves.
Their input is so important to making sure that we're not, you know, going off the wall with our piece or, you know.
So our piece is about a boy's journey through his imagination with the sun and the moon to kind of resolve a problem that he's having in his own home personal life.
It's a wonderful story about imagination.
Across the proscenium, the light goes off and she comes out. And she's kind of trying to coax him out, but she can't really get to him exactly.
Like, it's a journey, like you say, but what are the points along the journey, and are they important? What do those mean? You don't have to have all that figured out, but that's, I think, where starting to get on your feet. The structure, the big structure is really clear and good.
I can't wait to see.
I know.
I can't wait to dig into it.
Working with young people is, to me, is so refreshing. It's, you know, and they're coming up with so many ideas, and there's so much out there for them to grasp and use that it's going to be exciting.
Hopefully for the next Gateway, we can start doing a lot more things of getting up on our feet, because of the 2 performers in our group, it would be fun.
Thinking more about the logistics of the project. Specific visuals,
storyboards, get the look of what we want, and then start actually cutting it apart and figuring out technically what we're going to need to accomplish each part.
And we're just going to have to start doing it. You know, it's take it from the mind and start doing it.
Portu infinitum evanata, portut erebetin ade psichitin, de pluk fenec a fenetin.
Creating original works is incredibly important because it gives the students a chance to go into their integrity, go into their experience, and pull something out of it, and they come up with something that is important to them. It's so important that we recognize the work of these students because it gives them the motivation to go a little further.
Once we gave, Gregory a backstory and, how he was orphaned and why he was an orphan, and it really led to then decisions being made of, where we were in the story and things like that.
I think we started very big of kind of the spectacle side of things, and then it was like, no, we need to, if we have a strong story that we could tell with absolutely no tech, then the tech will just make that story magical.
They did their homework. I mean, they came in with finished projects, some great artistic concepts and ideas. It does my heart good because that's a true artist. You have a group of true artists in the room and at the school.
Like, as an artist, you're always pursuing the next level of expertise, both technical and emotional.
We all have our different backgrounds and our different strengths, we're putting that all together.
It's learning how to work with other people and learning using your strengths and differences and then using that to elevate your own talents, you know?
I think all that experience just creates who you are, and then who you are translates into your art.
It's helped me be creative in other ways, which has been really nice, instead of just being shoehorned into this one area.
A lot of it had to do with what inspires you, what are you passionate about.
I create because I'm not dead yet. I think when I'm dead, I'll probably stop creating, but I don't make any guarantees about that.
You know, I'm glad that I can say that I've only worked in the arts all of my life, and I believe that many, many of these kids will be doing the same, just because of the education and the spirit and the passion that they're getting from their education here at this wonderful school. We have chosen 3 very strong teams from the Circus Theater project that we would like to see move forward and help them to produce their project and their concept. And we had a difficult time deciding which of the groups really stood out and that had something, but it was these 3 groups that were really well prepared.
We went through like a lot, you know, like with even during the year, you know, trying to get all the stuff together for each gateway each month, like in the middle of like all of our classes and productions and stuff.
You get your head stuck in a project so far and you can see it and you've seen it so many times and you're focused on one problem that you're trying to fix and you can't fix it. Well, all of a sudden Kenny or Garrett come in and they're like, we'll just do that.
I think you just, at the beginning, have to kind of take a deep breath and jump in with both feet and trust that everything's going to get done and everyone's going to come together and figure out a way to interact and work on the piece.
Us trusting each other was like #1. To know that being apart from the group and not always being there, that they would handle things the way that our piece deserved.
It's been helpful that the 3 of us are pretty imaginative guys, so we can follow each other pretty well. I think that's why we work together well as a team.
All of the arts departments are all trying to accomplish the same thing, just kind of speaking a different language about it. So if you put us all in the same room on the same project, it'll find a universal language, and that is the spark of creativity. That is, you know, all these voices coming together and listening.
Each of us trusts the other person enough with what they do, with their particular craft, that we know they're going to make something good happen.
Ultimately, it's just really satisfying, particularly with a piece that's so heavily based in clown work, to finally have everything together in one space and on its feet and to put the whole thing in front of an audience.
We haven't done this for more than maybe 15 people, and it's sold out.
This piece is just so special to me, so it's really exciting to be here today. I just like realized it's been the whole year, and we're finally here.
So what you're going to see tonight is essentially 3 of the teams who are presenting their work. Enjoy the show. Thank you. Nishoku was they were searching, I would say. Yep. You know, they were a team that did not have that like clear progression, but they had themes that they wanted to work with.
It's such an interesting dance, though, with themes and your
your narrative and how to balance those things.
That's right.
Because if
That's
your
right.
narrative takes over too much too soon, you lose
You
a lot
lose
of
the exploration.
the special things that you found.
Right. Team, they had that style from the beginning, and then they layered on some story elements, and they kind of just kept going and going and going. You know, they really built.
Irrespective of how successful the piece may or may not have been, I just got the sense that they were there.
They were all there for each
They've
other.
got,
Yeah.
yeah, they were there, which was so impressive.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bison und Garen, Convex Calibra. Guru Hitam now! Achoo!
The red box was just, you know, it made people feel something. And I believe that that's the center of art, is you have to make us feel something.
Yeah, they exactly found the right expression.
This piece is the one that kind of stands out as one that
connected with us the most.
Connected with us and makes us ask questions in all the best ways, and you know, was sad and beautiful and funny and you know, all those great things.
Absolutely. I think it was artistically the strongest piece.
Well, one of the things it touches on is the clowns finding their own voice. And I feel that this project for me has been the discovery of my own voice as an artist. And I feel like this whole time I've really not had one until now.
The biggest thing I've taken from this was finding something like personal to me. This whole story is really personal to all of us. Once we found that, finding the story, just telling it has been exhilarating.
These students, I feel, are more prone to being successful in what they would like to do. They obviously want to work in the arts.
It's important for School of the Arts students to participate in the creation of new work because this is a way that they grow as an artist.
The program really helps emerging artists understand all of the disciplines involved in the creation of performing art, of all of the performing arts.
The collaborative teams have, in the beginning they were strangers, and now they're really, really close, and they're starting to they have the same vision, and like I said, they're speaking the same language.
I mean, they're so professional, and they are so great.
It was just amazing. It made me
use my imagination.
Really, it's why we came to school here. It's why I came to school here.
One of the best performances I've ever seen.
I've never met students who are as intense as they are here at UNCSA.
Quality public television is made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.